The world, ladies and gentlemen, is connected in a lot of ways, all right? But one of the greatest things that we have is supply chains, right? We have a lot of supply chains, and we have a surprisingly most of it, because obviously air freight is significantly harder to get there, is through shipping, okay? And you have your manufacturers, okay, and you have your consumers. Now, not everybody here is a manufacturer, not everybody here is a consumer, but let's just break it down for the talk here, okay? These guys make stuff, right? They get raw materials from wherever, whether it's the people on the other side of this globe, if it's not a globe, right here on the flat part, okay? They get shipped to them. They then take those materials, turn them into products, and then those products are then shipped, right? So it's a constant circular, thing. And you've got ports all over the world. They go everywhere. And then in order to get from one to the other, you have to go either through the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, or the Suez Canal, which is over here. Stocky, we all know this. What the fuck is your point? Okay, my point is that what did COVID do? It created that slinky effect, that kink in the hose that we've talked about, right? And that was that it started in China, they locked it down, then all of a sudden warehouses and production facilities and everything went to a grinding halt. Which meant that they had already shipped out stuff, but they stopped shipping here. Okay? For a while, we didn't even notice it because it took a while for those ships to get there. And so everybody was going, then all of a sudden we had shortages. Okay? Then Europe shuts down. Now, they're not importing or exporting. Same thing. And then it gets to the United States. So it's that slinky effect. And then it takes a while to rebound. By the time these guys were finally putting stuff out there again, everybody here was locked down. Now, what happens is we've got a shift. Everybody's locked down, everybody's at home, and now the demand for different items and different things has changed, right? People aren't going to the theaters. People aren't going to the hotels and the restaurants and the casinos, but people are at home. And so now all of a sudden, electronics and home goods start exploding. But where do those electronics and home goods come from? From China. But it's not like overnight you can just step up supply. It takes a while. Now they have to order more raw materials of certain type of materials to make semiconductors and chips and less of the others, and then they've got this stockpile, right? So now you've got this shift. Well, that causes a strain on the supply chain. A whole new like 180 on what is supply and demand. Everybody wants demand on things that weren't necessarily made in large scale because the world changed. A few other things happen. Ever Given gets stuck in the Suez Canal. Help, ship, I'm stuck. That fucked up things for a while. All right? And then all of a sudden the EV and green energy, right? Like okay, we need this. But EVs were already in development, but because we ended up having things like Peloton and Roomba and smart fridges and computers and Bitcoin mining and everything, all of a sudden everybody needed chips for stuff. And so you couldn't keep up with it. You couldn't keep up with the chips, right? That's why we ended up getting a semiconductor shortage, because EV was starting to happen, but then everybody else needed one too. So that became a supply chain problem. And now we're getting another one with the other stuff because people are starting to go back out. Now, why am I bringing all that up? You guys already know that. This morning, there was something concerning for me, okay? Especially for tech right now. China, this country, has a zero COVID policy, which means they are not okay with having COVID anywhere. At the beginning, when it happened, they locked everything down. They went ghost town. You went in your house. They welded your door shut. They put police outside. They walked the streets. They made people disappear. Okay, and then reappear as pro-government people. But they have a zero policy. Okay? They haven't been reporting any cases. Well, now all of a sudden, they're having an outbreak. But not just anywhere. Why is this such a big deal? This is where everything is made industrial-wise. This is where Foxconn, this is where your chips are made, this is where your Apple pieces are made. This is just a city of factories. And they have now announced a minimum 2-week lockdown. And that's if they get it under control. We're also seeing huge outbreaks in Hong Kong and South Korea. So that's why this morning during the morning call I was telling you guys I was taking SQQQ, which is tech short, because I was expecting tech to have a bad day today, especially with this news right here, because there's already a supply chain problem, already can't keep up, and now you're talking about 2 weeks. In two weeks of production is massive on the global scale. Their export is insane. And this comes on top of the Suez Canal announcing they're going to charge as much as 10% more as a bridge toll to get through. This is what I broke down this morning in the call about it. And that's why I took SQQ pre-market. And I got stopped out of some of it, and then I sold some more of it. Apple hitting a little bit here. Does that mean we're going to continue to crash? No. I mean, I don't know how it's going to price in, but it was definitely on my radar this morning. Maybe it's not smart to have everything made in China after all. I mean, that's why we played Steve Madden, because we were expecting them to do well because they moved all of their production last year from Asia to Mexico and Brazil, and it ended up working out well.